If you hear thundering outside, I'm sorry, it's a thunderstorm going on right now. But the grind don't stop. As y'all can see in the background, this is Mythic gameplay. And this is a very iconic Hunter build that everybody was using when Final Shape first came out. And then people just suddenly stopped using it because then Signorachnid Immos Light became a very popular build for Hunters because of its survivability and utility to it. But don't sleep. That don't mean this build is bad, nor does it mean it didn't get better, okay? Now that Edge of Fate added new stats and stuff, this build has evolved into something insane. And I can't wait to show you guys the evolution of this build and how easy this build allows you to be a murderous assassin that just go around killing all the enemies in the room without them ever being able to fight back. And I increased the survivability on this build, so you literally can take this anywhere you want and get the job done. It's the ultimate melee build. The ultimate melee build. Come check it out. What up, guys? Alchemist here. I have something nice for you. So today we are using the famous Hunter build when Final Shape first came out that everybody was chasing after. Spirit of the Liar, which is Liar Handshake, and Spirit of the Caliban, which is Caliban's hand. Making it that our power melee do more damage, and I'll put the damage buff on the screen, and making it that our melee kills cause ignition explosions. Spirit of the Liar make it that powerful arc melees happen on your second punch. So your first punch, I'm just throwing an example out there. Again, damage don't be on the screen. But if your first punch did 100 damage, then your second punch is going to do 200 damage, okay? That's basically the simple form of it, right? Dumbed down version of it. And then like I said, Caliban, any power melee kill you get, cause ignition explosion. Now, if you're wondering, Alchemist, I don't have this as out of class item. What are you doing? If you're a Hunter man, you should have had this. But I understand. Let me calm down. If you don't have this exact role, all you need for this build to work is Spirit of the Liar. That's all you need. Spirit of the Liar. If you don't have Spirit of the Liar on exotic class item, then just use the exotic arm piece, Liar Handshake, okay? But if you do have Spirit of the Liar, you can pair it with something else. If you don't have Caliban, you can pair it up with like anything else, like Immos Light or something. Up to you. Pair whatever you want with it. I prefer Spirit of Caliban and add more spice to the build, better ad control and stuff. So I highly recommend you do use Caliban and Liar. But if you only got Liar, that's okay. Now, that's the exotic we use in this build. Weapons. In this build, we are using Festival Flight in this build because we want to be abusing Blast Distributor. Because like I said, we making the ultimate melee build. We will be using the one-shot melee grapple build, melee build in this build as well. So we use the Festival Flight for Blast Distributor because Blast Distributor gives us plus 65 grenade stat whenever we got 5 stacks of Blast Distributor. And you get 5 stacks just by shooting the weapon. It's that easy. So that's why we're using Festival Flight. And then we're using a sudden death. You should have got this during the Rite of 9 before Edge of Fate came out. This is the first shotgun that got 1-2 punch on it and trench barrel. 1-2 punch increases our melee damage by 150%. And then trench barrel increases the weapon of the shotgun itself whenever we do melee damage. So it's a perfect shotgun to use for a melee build. If you don't have the shotgun, don't worry. All that really matters is the 1-2 punch part. That's all that matters. I'm just happy that my shotgun can do even more damage on its own as well from me punching. So I do dumb damage in the gameplay loop cycle. But those are the weapons you want. Your heavy can be whatever you want. But if you've seen my build from yesterday with Winter Bite, well, not yesterday, but the other day, because I scheduled these videos, y'all. I scheduled these videos. I don't know when they be coming out when I record them. But if you see my Winter Bite video that I said Bungie definitely gonna nerf this, Winter Bite is getting buffed up by combination blow and stuff now. And it's getting buffed up by the melee stat and weapon stat. So Winter Bite is doing dumb damage for Hunters right now with Stylish Executioner, giving it extra damage, melee damage, combination blow, extra melee damage, the melee stat, the weapon stat. It's insane, okay? So I added the Winter Bite in this mug too, okay? It works. Trust me, it works. Everything is amazing in this build, but Winter Bite you do not have to use if you don't want to. Let me give y'all some alternatives. Winter Bite, it can be whatever heavy you want. Truly, you ain't gonna need it, okay? You ain't gonna need it. This is just for funsies. If I run out of special ammo, I can use Winter Bite, but you ain't gonna run out of special ammo in this build, I promise you. So you use whatever heavy you want when it comes to this build. If you don't want to use Festival Flight or you didn't get it in time before Solstice went away, don't worry. You don't have to use the grapple melee build if you don't want to. If you want more range in this build, you can definitely use the Mint Retrograde. Just true. It's just the most honest weapon in this game right now. So use Mint Retrograde if you don't have a Festival Flight with Blast Distributor on. Okay. Now, if you don't care, if you don't want to use none of these weapons, the only other weapon I can recommend is you using the exotic fusion rifle, my Lord and Savior Bastion. Okay, Bastion has 1-2 punch on it and trench barrel. So if you don't have the shotgun with it, Bastion has as well. It's a fusion rifle and it's better. 1-2 punch gives you 150% increased melee damage on a shotgun. Bastion make it that you get 300% with its version of 1-2 punch. So it's increasing your melee damage even more than the shotgun itself. And it got trench barrel on it, increasing the damage of Bastion whenever you get a melee damage in as well. So you'll be powering up Bastion, making it shoot faster as well. So you're powering up the damage of Bastion and Bastion powering up your melee. So if you don't have that shotgun, Bastion is an option as well if you love that fusion rifle as an exotic slot, and then your energy slot and heavy can be whatever you want as well, with some range weapons in case you don't want a point blank range build where you just punching things all day. Artifact. Only thing you really need in an artifact is Shield Crush. Shield Crush increase your melee damage and make come back quicker by 50%, and make your grenade come back faster and do more damage as well. If you have both on, and make your grapple melee do 24% more damage. So that's the only thing you really need in this build. But if you want some more oomph in the build, we got Radiant Shrapnel. You always gonna be radiant in this build, so you might as well make the solar projectiles come out from you dealing damage while you rolling and punch people all day. We got Carrot Darkness on, which makes that any solar damage do more damage if the enemy is affected by a dark debuff. We got Grapple Melee in this build, and our Shade Steps are going to be doing slow. So the enemy is going to either have Unraveling on them, or they're going to be slow from you Shade Stepping near them. So this making that the initiations that you're going to be doing with Caliban do 30% more damage, and it make the Radiant Shrapnel projectiles do 30% more damage. And then we have Refresh Threads in our build, so that whenever we pick up an element to pick up matching our super, we get some ability energy for our lowest cooldown at that moment. And then we got Elemental Coalescence on, where we make Elemental Pickup matching our super, so they go together in tangent without us having to worry about how we're going to make that Elemental Pickup. And then we have Elemental Benevolence on, where whenever we get an Elemental buff to our teammates, we get some class ability energy. We're going to be punching people all day. If you're playing with your friends, you're giving them Radiant whenever you punch somebody, so you'll get that extra class ability energy to make sure you always have uptime on your class ability, so you get your melee back. Subclass. We're rocking Tether in this build. Tether making that people take more damage, 30% more damage. So you can always tether a group of enemies, punch one of them, and then they all die, or the Ignition, that was loud thunder. The Ignition finished them off. Okay, so Tether's amazing here. If you don't want to use Tether, you can go with Silk Strike or Silent Wall, just to get that Frost Armor or Woven Mail for Shield Crush to be activated. Shadow Shot gives that Void Overshield. Void Overshield damage reduction is 50%, so it's really good for survivability for us being close near all these enemies. So I wanted us to have that extra damage resist compared to Woven Mail 45%, I believe, and Silent Wall Frost Armor is like 30%, 32%. So I went with Shadow Shot instead, and we get that extra damage, with the tethering enemies. We got on Gambler's Dodge to get our melee back, and then we got Combination Blow, give us our class ability back as well, but also to get that 400% extra melee damage from us getting 3 stacks of Combination Blow. We got on Grapple Melee, like I said, so that when we get 3 stacks Combination Blow, we can one-shot anybody with our Grapple Melee, with Blast Distributor, getting our grenade stat up, but also too in tangent with Status Executioner. And I'm gonna showcase to you guys how you utilize Status Executioner with Grapple Melee, because Status Executioner increase our melee damage by 300%, and it weakens whoever we punch by 15% weaken debuff. Okay, so you can shotgun right after the melee again and finish them off if it's some mini boss or boss, whatever it is, you're doing dumb damage to them, right? Let me show you guys an example. So we're gonna get 3 stack Combination Blow, and we ain't gonna stun this Unstoppable right here. We're gonna get 3 stacks Combination Blow, and now y'all see Liar Handshake makes it very easy for us to get our 3 stack Combination Blow in Mythic, so you don't have to worry about, oh, it's hard to get my 3 stacks. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna punch and kill this slow target. Now I'm immediately gonna grapple immediately. So I'm still invisible, and I melee punch this unstoppable and one-shot him without me, you know, having to stun him or anything like that, okay? That's how you go grapple to get that status executioner buff with grapple without you being like, well, when I use grapple, it takes me out envious. No, there's ways to do it, okay? Now, we're going to add another unstoppable in here again, just so I can show you guys that the combo with Blast Distributor, how you go about it with Blast Distributor. So if I go back here, kill this knight real quick, because I still got 3 stacks, right? What you'll do is you will shade step right here near this knight, make sure you see slow for slow debuff. You will shoot Blast Distributor at the unstoppable, melee punch him, immediately grapple, and then punch the unstoppable, so you get that extra damage with Blast Distributor. As y'all see, it just went off after I meleeed him, and you will get that insane one punch combo with Blast Distributor on, just like in any other grapple melee build with the one shot, okay? So we got it all in this build. We got it all in this build, okay? The only thing you don't got in this build is Navigator for you to do it infinitely, but we got it all in this build. Fragments. Before fragments. Aspect, we got Winter Shroud on, as y'all can see. It's for me to slow the targets, so I can always keep Status Executioner up non-stop to go invisible. But also too, some people don't know, I'll tell y'all all the time, Winter Shroud gives you a damage reduction. It don't tell you on here, but it gives it to you, okay? It's like it's a shadow buff there, okay? When you Winter Shroud Shade Step, you get 4 seconds of 50% damage reduction. 50% damage reduction. So not only are we gonna have damage reduction from Winter Shroud for 50% damage reduction, we're gonna have a Void Overshield for 50 damage reduction, and we got our fragments down here, Faster to Protection, giving us a 15% damage reduction when we're near enemies. We got Faster to Dino, when we punch somebody, we get Radiant. We got Faster to Purpose on, that gives the Void Overshield picking up orbs with the Void Super on, and then we got Faster to Courage on, that got buffed in Edge of Fate. So usually it gets 10% extra damage if you punch it, if you deal damage with a light ability towards a darkness debuffed enemy. So if the enemy is slowed or unraveled by strand, any dark debuff from stasis or strand, your arc, solar, or void light abilities will do 10% more damage. The buff they did in Edge of Fate is if the light ability is a melee attack, it gets 50% extra damage instead of 10. So our combination blow is doing 50% more damage with Faster Courage on if the enemy have a dark debuff on them. So you always want to slow the enemy or unravel them with the grapple melee and then punch them with your combination blow to make it do more damage. By the way, fun fact, our grapple melee is not a grapple melee, it's not strand anymore. Okay? It's arc, because combination blow changed your melee attacks to arc melee damage. So grapple melee changed to arc damage when paired with combination blow. If you're wondering, do you have to punch first before you activate Liar Handshake for your grapple melee? No, you do not. Actually, grapple melee hits twice. So, as you can see when I punch the ogre right here, it's gonna do 2 damage numbers. Usually grapple melee have the exact same number. If 100 pop up for one instance, it's gonna pop up 100 again. But with Liar Handshake on, the first damage is proccing the cross counter on it, and then the second damage is getting buffed up from Liar Handshake. So when I punch, you're gonna see 2 different numbers, one being buffed up and one being smaller. 510, 456. So cross counter is always gonna get proc no matter what when you grapple melee. You don't have to worry about proccing it first, and grapple melee procs Trench Barrel as well for your shotgun if you have that, or bashing if you have that. Now, if you're wondering, well, what happens if I punch first and then grapple melee? If you punch first to activate cross counter first and then grapple melee, then both the melee damages, if it didn't whiff, oh my god, bro, then both of the goddamn melee damage would be buffed up by cross counter. So both should say 510 when I grapple melee. You see? So not that big of a damage difference, but that's how it will work out for you. Stats. Your main priority is get 200 melee stat. So get you a full brawler set. Your main priority is to get 200 melee stat. After that, your next priority is make sure you have 70 class ability, so that whenever you shade step, you get your melee back. Those are your 2 priorities. After that, then you can make your grenade stat close to 100, so that Blast Distributor can make that 100 go to 165 with the Blast Distributor perk on your grenade launcher. So then you get that 1 punch grapple melee off. The one punch grappling melee works regardless if you do it invisible, because that's 400% from combination blow, and then 300% from stash executioner. So you still be getting that one punch hitting, and you got shield crush on. You still be getting that one punch effect off, but if you get that blast distributor to raise that grenade stat, it gets the extra damage from the melee stat being at 200 and the extra damage from the grenade stat being past 100. So that just adds the even more oomph to it, right? After that, weapon stat if you're using Winter Bite, because Winter Bite will get buffed up from the weapon stat as well. Like I said, it's bug. Glaze only probably get buffed up from the melee stat now. Winter Bite is getting buffed up from the melee stat and the weapon stat. So if you are running Winter Bite, you can pour some into your weapon stat if need be. But your main priority is 200 melee, 70 class ability. That's your main priority. And then try to get grenade stat as close to 100 as you can, so blast distributor can do the rest for you. Okay? If you're wondering about Winter Bite with the buff on it as well with the bug, all you'll do is get combination blow times 3, right? We're gonna do the same testing again. Combination blow times 3 with the champion being out. And like I said, Winter Bite get buffed up from combination blow now as well, and stash executioner. So all you do is just get your 3 stacks. Get your 3 stacks. And then go invisible. I don't punch. And just swing with Winter Bite. You see the dumb damage you did? It's that simple, okay? And that was with the shield crush on as well, right? Also, too, in this build, I forgot to say, you will be getting amplified as well because you're punching people with combination blow. So that's more damage resistance in the build as well. So you're going invisible, avoid overshield, damage reduction from Winter Shroud, and amplified, and enemies missing their shots. You got it all. You got the whole shebang, okay? Now, mods. We're rocking 2 special ammo finders because we're rocking 2 special weapons in this build. And we're rocking a harmonic siphon, so if I ever get a shotgun kill, it will make an orb. My Festival Flight has attrition orb on it, so I didn't need my strand weapon. I didn't need that making an orb for me. It's gonna make an orb regardless, okay? Arm piece, I got 3 heavy-handed on. We're gonna punch people all day. I want to keep that void overshield on me non-stop for survivability. Even if I'm going invisible, I don't want anything one-shotting me. I literally ate a Cyclops shot to the face because I had a void overshield on me. So, and I had amplified on the stuff. So it helps a lot to always have that void overshield on you for survivability. Even if you are invisible, sometimes enemies be trying to cheat you. So it's good to have that on to make an orb non-stop whenever you get a melee kill. Chest piece, I got melee damage resistant on. We're gonna be close to enemies non-stop. So this keeps you that damage resist 15% from having this on. And then you don't have to worry about dimension returns from having like 2 void resist mobs on. They stack better than you having 2 void resist mobs on. You can rock whatever resist mod you want on your chest piece other than melee damage resistance. Melee damage resistance is mandatory. You can rock whatever other resistance you want. And then I put on a strand ammo generation to make it that my Festival Flight get a plus 20 ammo generation stat to his bar, so that it's not at 69 ammo generation stat. It's actually at 89, so that I can make ammo easy by just spraying into a crowd with this to get more special ammo and heavy ammo if need be. Leg piece, we have on better already. We may have a damage resistance stuff, but I would like my health to regen immediately as soon as I pick up an orb while I got the void overshield on. So if they are damaging my void overshield, my health is still recovering. So we got better already on for survivability. Then we got a strength scavenger and void scavenger on, just so that whenever we do pick up special ammo, we get a lot of ammo for our shotgun and aerodynamic grenade launcher. So we never out of special ammo ever. Class item, we got on powerful attraction, so I don't have to worry about picking up the orb. So I'm gonna be chased up punching all day. So this will pick up the orb for me without me having to worry about going to find it. And then we got bomber on. Whenever I shade step, I get grenade energy. We shade stepping a lot. I already got infinite uptime on my class ability from getting melee kills with combination blow. And then I got infinite uptime on my combination blow melee from shade stepping all day. So I needed something to get my grenade back quicker. And bomber was the way to keep getting that grenade back quicker, so I can grapple one-shot melee mini bosses and bosses whenever I want. And then of course we got Reaper on, so when I do get a shotgun kill with 1-2 punch trench barrel shotgun, or if I get like a bastion kill, or if I get a kill from Festival Flight, I'll make an orb because I'm always chase stepping non-stop. So there's plenty of orb power in this build. Okay, that's the full build. I don't know why people ain't using this as of right now, but it really is probably the best hunter build you can be using right now with Signaratney, Emos Light. That and this build is the best build you can be using right now when it comes to in-game content. You don't have to run Navigator or anything. This gets the job done. If you want to run Navigator, just use a pure one-shot melee build, grapple build. If you want to use the one-shot melee build for that, just use Navigator and beat up on a boss. But if you want something that's more efficient, more optimized, that you can use in your regular gameplay and still get that one-shot, still have that one-shot grapple melee in there whenever you want at your disposal as like your secret hidden move, this is the build for you. Okay, this is the build. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this build. I love it. Saving it in one of my pre-loadouts. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy it too. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. And until next time, stay up.